Hello and welcome to the last math lesson for week 5. We've been learning about decimals all week and their place value. Now today we're actually going to start adding and subtracting with decimals. All right, now you are used to seeing a math problem that looks like this. When you have, let's say, 47 plus 9, all right? And like what we practiced a couple weeks ago, you're used to rewriting it to look like this: 47 plus 9. And you see that when we do that, we are lining up on the right-hand side. And you're used to then crunching the numbers. But when we work with decimals, we're not necessarily lining up on the right-hand side, okay? I'm going to show you what we need to do for decimals. All right, now for decimals, I might have 0 and 47 hundredths plus 9 tenths, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and make my decimal point really big so you're sure to see where it is. It's very important to know where the decimal point is because I need to rewrite this problem just like I did with the last one, like what you've been used to doing with adding numbers, but now I need to line up on that decimal point, okay? So let's go ahead and rewrite the problem. 47 hundredths goes on the top and 9 tenths goes on the bottom. Now, you might be tempted to write it like this. But we can't write it like that because we need to make sure that this decimal point is in line with this decimal point, okay? So let's go ahead and erase that. And we need to make sure that we line up on the decimal point. To help me see that, I'm just going to draw a little line to help me realize where the decimal point needs to go. All right. Well, if the decimal point needs to go right on this red line, I need to write 9 tenths around that. Okay. I bring my decimal point straight down in my answer. And now you see there's an empty spot right here. Well, empty means nothing. What number represents nothing? Very good. 0 represents nothing, so we can write 0 right there. All right, now that I've made sure that my decimal point is lined up and I filled in the empty places with zeros, I'm going to go ahead and add. 7 plus 0 is, whoops, sorry. That looks a little bit like a decimal point, doesn't it? Let me change my color. All right, 7 plus 0 is, very good, 7. 4 plus 9 is, very good, 13. Write the 3, carry the 1, just like we do on regular addition problems. 1 plus 0 is 1. All right, now don't get confused with this little red line here. I don't need him in my answer, okay? I'm going to go ahead and erase it. What do I get for an answer? 1 and 37 hundredths. Very good. All right, now let's take a look at what that looks like for subtraction, okay? All right, I might have a number that looks like this. 5 subtract 1 and 5 tenths. Well, just like what I did with addition, I'm going to rewrite it. Now, for subtraction, you always need to make sure that this first number comes on top. And you need to line up on the decimal point. And you might be saying, wait a minute, Mr. Ivan. There's no decimal point on 5. Very good. think back to what we learned this week. If I have a whole number in the ones place, where does the decimal place go? Very good. The decimal point goes directly to the right. All right, now I'm going to add my little red line so I can make sure to line everything up on the decimal point. All right, 1 5/10, decimal point's going right here. So I write it like this. And remember, I've got this empty space right next to the 5. Well, what number represents nothing? Very good, 0 does. All right, now I bring my decimal point straight down so it's still on the red line. Okay, now before I crunch my numbers, I'm actually going to erase my red line now that I can see that everything is lined up properly. You could use a straight edge if you want to, a ruler, that would also help. All right, guys, now let's take a look. Let's go ahead and crunch some numbers. 0, subtract 5. What's 0 subtract 5? Hey, you know you can't do that. You need to borrow. So just like with regular subtraction, I borrow from the 5. 5 becomes a 4. And that 1 I took from the 4 comes over here. And I don't read this as a 1 like I do with addition. I read this as 10. What's 10 subtract 5? Very good. 10 subtract 5 is 5. Over here now, what's 4 subtract 1? Very good, it's 3. Making sure my decimal point's lined up, my answer is 3 5/10. Okay guys, put that into practice today. Rewrite the problem, line up the decimal point, and crunch the numbers.